Hello everyone, I'm back at Ibrox Stadium for another interview with the club regarding the ongoing updates at Ibrox and the surrounding area. It's one of James Bisgrove's plans to keep the fans updated with everything, and I'm delighted that we've been given such access. I'm here today to speak to John MacFarlane. John, lovely to meet you, mate. Thanks for making the time. It's such a hectic time for you, mate, so I really appreciate it. I wonder if you could just introduce yourself and tell everybody about what you do here in your role.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invite on the show, Stephen. Again, my name is John MacFarlane and I'm the facilities manager here at Rangers Football Club. I am responsible for leading the facilities department here at Ibrox Stadium, the training ground, a new flagship facility at Edmiston House, and of course the Ibrox Community Complex across the road.
So plenty to keep you busy.
Absolutely, there's a lot going on just now. It's all exciting stuff, so look forward to telling you all about it.
Yeah, even when we came in, folks, John was dealing with an emergency and getting things sorted in the stadium, so we'll try and get all the information we can for you. But John, let's go and discuss, obviously, the stadium first of all. What do you think are the biggest issues in the stadium to fix, and what kind of projects are you focusing on?
Yeah, I think go back to the fans forum with James, gave his kind of introductions and what have you, and had the opportunity to speak about some of the projects that are ongoing. James highlighted all the kind of big sexy stuff that we're doing, whether it be the Boy Sky Lounge, Edmiston House, all these kind of big flagship stuff. And then he also went back to we need to get the basics right, Stephen. So for us, there's issues that we all recognise with the toilets throughout the stadium, and there's fabric repairs required. There's a lot of lighting works needing upgraded. The cleaning is another area we need to focus on. So getting right back to the basics. They're some of the big issues and the high priority items at the moment.
I think that's important for the fans as well, because we all love Edmiston House, the sports bars, the Blue Sky Lounge. That's all fantastic, and then, like you said, it is flagship. But there's a lot of us who think that the little things are just as important or just as big. So I'm looking forward to finding out about these. One of the burning issues over the summer was the seats within Ibrox Stadium. There was stuff on social media about potentially a company coming in and maybe refiring the seats to upgrade them, make them fresher. Can you tell us a wee bit about the plans for that and why that hasn't happened so far, and what maybe the plan is for the future for that one?
Sure, so I'll take it right back to the start with that one. So we were contacted by a company who specialise in seat restoration. Essentially, it's a three-stage process. They do a lot of work throughout UK and Europe, predominantly based in England. They were up in Scotland for various different reasons, and they reached out to us with a view to carrying out a trial on our seats. So the three-stage process that they carry out is essentially, the frames and seats are stripped back of moss, rust, defects, and they're fully kind of degreased. The second stage of that is they are fully applied with an adhesion promoter before receiving a image guard UV cover coat to match our Rangers RAL number, Stephen. So the thing that you see in social media around about the blowtorch, it looks great, but it's all very
looks easy as well.
Looks easy. Yeah. It's a very, very quick win where the heat brings the oils back to the surface, but it very, very quickly regresses again before going back to the faded, and actually gets worse the second time round as well. So this process here, we've done a trial on it and it was absolutely fantastic. Again, essentially what it is, it's just a coat of paint over the seats and the metal framework. So we got a trial done, and unfortunately the company that done it went onto social media, the LinkedIn platform, and the way that they put their post is as if we were ready to progress with this seat restoration programme, and it wasn't quite the case. It was slightly premature, but we absolutely love it. We recognise the need for the seats to be brought back to life, so to speak. So it's very much still part of the plans. We're in discussion with them. It's about where we do first and where the high priority areas are, and how much we can actually do over a short period of time before the windows of opportunity are very small. So it's very much part of the plans. But other than that, I can't give you any kind of timelines on it as such yet. But we do have a seat restoration programme as well in terms of the replacements of the existing seats, particularly the club deck, Stephen, and the enclosures. The seats are almost 30 years old, if not a wee bit older than that. So every season we are upgrading both of those areas as a priority. So we're actually just waiting our latest delivery, which should be due by the 14th of August. So.
Is it a slight frustration because everybody's seen that stuff on social media, and whether we like it or not, there's a tendency to think, oh, that's easy. It's just a wee blowtorch. It must take 5 minutes. Yeah. We've got 50,000 seats. Why isn't that done in a week? And is that a frustration for you? Because we can set out as a club with the best intentions. Let's have a trial. Let's see what it's like. Great, we like that. Let's aim to get this done in the future. We'll not say anything because we don't want to raise the expectations of support, and then it comes out. So is that kind of a slight frustration for us?
I don't think a frustration is perhaps the right word, Stephen. I understand where the fans are coming from. The aesthetics are important to everybody. I think it's just about recognising, the quality of that. It's a short-term fix. We're looking for kind of longer-term fixes that are going to, look amazing, but also, stand the test of time. They need to stand up to a lot of wear and tear. Frustration, definitely not the right word. We're as keen as MD to get it looking as good as it possibly can. It's just about finding the right steps to take to achieve that.
No, fair. You don't want to do a section and then, as you say, that section looks great and in 6 months' time it looks worse than the other. So, no, I completely understand it, but it's good to know that the club are looking at it. Yeah. I think that's all we want. We would like to know that the club feel the same as us. So, no, that's all promising. The toilets are the next big thing. They must be a real kind of talking point, I think, for yourself, because it is raised so much. It was obviously raised at the fans forum. Mm-hmm. What is the strategy for upgrading the toilets? And there is obviously so many. They have obviously the stadiums the stands are now almost 40 years old, so there is an understanding there of where we are. But can you give us an update on that project? Because I should imagine it's quite extensive.
Absolutely. So as part of the cantilevers and disabled platforms, the toilets will naturally be upgraded as a result of that works in the internal concourses. So where we are currently, by way of update, is we are imminently about to embark on the toilet upgrade programme, particularly within the Copland and the Broomlin, which is part of the cantilever and disabled platform works. Our principal contractor, we're engaging with them right now, but that's going to be an 18-week programme where we will be creating 2 new accessible toilets in the Copland and starting to upgrade some of the males and the females in that area as well. We're going to use them as a bit of a kind of template for the rest of the stadium, just to make sure we've got consistency where possible. But following that completion of that initial programme, we will start to use that template throughout the Broomlin and the Govan and the enclosures and all these other areas where the toilets do need to be upgraded. We absolutely recognise the need for it. They are in a poor condition, but we are working with the contractors to achieve the best outcomes on that one.
Perhaps a difficult question, but if we were to ask you for a timeline for stadium completion, do you have obviously we're talking years, we understand that. Yeah. Do you have a timeline in mind where you would like to have it done by?
As soon as possible, Stephen. I think the easiest answer there for you, but I think everybody needs to appreciate the amount of work that's required and the short windows of opportunity that we have to do this.
Between fixtures, especially.
Even at the end of the season, Stephen, when you start to put in the home friendlies, which we've had 3 just now, that significantly reduces our windows of opportunity. Now I know the fans are not here necessarily throughout all those processes Monday to Friday and whatever, but there are small windows of opportunity. But what we will be doing is trying to work as live as we possibly can. So for this work, the fans may experience some disruption while we upgrade these toilets, but if it's a Friday or a Saturday fixture, we will have the said toilet operational by Friday. It might be freshly plastered walls, there might be some hoarding up, but they will still be usable. And I think that's something that we have to highlight. There may be a slight disruption to the match day experience as a result of these works, but we all recognise that they're absolutely essential. We need to try and get through it as quick as we possibly can. But a timeline, I couldn't possibly give you that at this moment in time, but just be rest assured that we are working to the smallest timeline that we can.
I would rather you said honestly that, and we got that from the club, than the club say no, it'll take us a year, and it runs on, because that's when people start getting a wee bit kind of upset and what's happening with it. And just the fact that it is happening and we're acknowledging it and we're doing something is enough to be positive about. So I think that's great news, John. The external footprint, the tarmac and stuff like that, we spoke about that with actually John Spears, because we done the disability update and access kind of update with John just a few weeks ago, and he spoke about the need to do that and the want to do that as well, and he was hopeful. Can you give us an update on the kind of footprint of the stadium and what we're doing there and how we're going to make those improvements?
Sure. I think what we started to do, we all recognise we had to tidy up the footprint first and foremost. Stephen, there was a lot of porta cabins and different materials lying around that had been lying there for quite a period of time, so clearing it out as much as we possibly can. But the actual footprint itself, the strategy and the plan is at this moment in time is probably to break it up into 2 or 3 phases. We'll start with phase 1, phase 2 and then phase 3 over an agreed period of time, but at this particular moment in time we are engaging with specialist tarmac companies to get that right specification. In actual fact, I'm actually meeting them on Monday here at Ibrox to go over that and review the stadium footprint. So, as soon as we get through that process, we'll be looking at tendering options, going out to market for the best value, best costs, and then we'll see where that takes us at that point. But yeah, the full stadium, unfortunately, even the repairs that we've done previously around about the stadium footprint are starting to fail as well. And it is a risk, but we are making small repairs to potholes as we go. But the overall strategy is to develop the ring road and increase the kind of car parking where we can as well and stuff, and look at all these different areas and really lift the footprint in the stadium.
Fantastic news again. So that is a project that's been blue lit as such, as you would say, and it's all go, and it's just a matter now of putting that out to tender, like you said, and actually getting it done. Again, it's fantastic to see those upgrades being done already in the short space of time. We're looking at the seats, we're looking at toilets, we're looking at upgrades to the stadium. This is all, as we spoke about at the start, perhaps not sexy, but it's really important for the support.
Absolutely, and I hope some of the fans have also recognised some of the work that's actually been done in Edmiston Drive as well, just at the front entrance. Edmiston Drive itself, albeit council owned, is in a state of kind of disrepair by the pavement. Right 15 metres either side of our main entrance with some nice Caithness slabbing all laid at the front, and it really lifts the area, and there is plans to expand that along with the council, as well as making repairs as we go. So we recognise all of this and we are working to achieve it.
Brilliant. What about an area, we want to come to projects and other things to highlight the good work that's been done, because there has been a lot of stuff maybe the supporters don't know about, so we'll come to that in a minute. But one of the things that we talk about a lot is cleaning around the stadium. There's been, numerous people have asked about cladding, maybe cleaning the stands and things like that. Now, we've obviously had the roofs put on the last couple of years, and they've had a fantastic effect. Even the aerial shots and things look fantastic. Obviously, there was a need to do that anyway, but can you give us a kind of update on the overall cleaning situation with the stadium and where that is?
We recognise in the frustrations of the fans from an aesthetics point of view, whether it be cladding or higher up at the back of the Broomlawn or the Copeland stands, and there's been multiple efforts previously to try and achieve various different outcomes on that. It is difficult. Some of the stuff is just beyond life cycle, and it won't get any better by cleaning. We've tried power washing, we've tried every kind of method available to us, and it's just not shifting some of these things. So unfortunately, replacement in some capacity or overcladding, whatever it may be, will need to be the outcome on that one. But take the iconic steelwork on the main stand, the roof for example. We're going to shortly embark on a cleaning process throughout the full main stand roof. All that white steelwork will all be cleaned up as well. There'll be moss taken off it and different things there. And that'll be a big.
People comment about that, John, all the time. That's a big thing for people. So that's good news.
Absolutely. But then general cleaning overall throughout the stadium, we've made significant strides working with our cleaning contractor on that front as well. We now have immediate after match pickups of the bowl for all the litter that gets dropped. The outside of the stadium, we are currently tendering for a new waste contract as well, and hopefully as of Wednesday, past there for the match, we had additional 40 cleaners in the concourses and the toilets, just to give that immediate response to the fans.
I've actually seen that, because we're late with the media stuff. You can actually see people immediately in doing the rows and doing everything in there cleaning. So
it's huge, and it's just about giving that impact and that presence of the cleaning resource. We've actually asked them to start, when you see the stewards walking down the aisles as well in the bowl, we're actually asking the cleaners now to offer bags out to the fans throughout the match as well. It's just like the stewardess would do in a flight, for example. Walk down, walk back, and again, just ways of trying to increase the cleaning standards throughout the club. It's absolutely essential that we do that, and obviously using innovative and technology ways of improving it throughout, whether it be new ways of, do we get rid of blue roll in the toilets for our hands and install hand dryers everywhere. All these kind of things are being looked at, so hopefully as we go, these will start to be recognised by everyone.
Great news. John, before we come to other projects and we highlight other good things, because there is a lot going on about the stadium that's worth highlighting, I'm going to note, folks, just for coming in, things that John's not in charge of. John's not in charge of the Wi-Fi. John's not in charge of the kiosks as well within the stadium, and things like the upgrades we've seen in the Copeland rear with the new self-order things and that. I'm going to speak to Josh Hollywood about these things in the next few months, and the new bar and stuff like that. So it's not that we've came along today with John and ignored them, it's just simply because that's not John's area of expertise. So we haven't discussed them. So it's not, folks, that we have ignored them, it's just that that's not John's area. So yeah, folks, that was just a wee footnote. I thought that was pertinent to put in there, just to let you know that we haven't kind of ignored some of the things you've asked. But we're finally going to ask John, just before we kind of wrap things up, John, I really appreciate your time today, as we discussed, and it's been really informative and good news for the fans so far. But what about some projects that perhaps we haven't seen, and the upgrades that have gone about the stadium, because there has been a lot of work done?
Absolutely, there has some exciting projects. So hopefully the fans have recognised the new LED screens around about the perimeter of the pitch, which looked fantastic. The images are so crisp and so sharp as well, so it looks great. We've got a new PA system, which again, hopefully they've recognised. Great sound coming out of that as well. And again, that's nice and loud, and we'll see where that takes us throughout the season. But there has been some upgrades to some hospitality areas as well. In particular, the old dated hospitality entrances at either side of the east and west of the club deck towers, which now look fantastic, and hopefully again the fans appreciate the work and efforts went into that. I've
actually got pictures of those upgrades from Josh Hollywood, head of corporate, and I can use them, so they'll be included in this blog for people to see. They look fantastic.
They do. A lot of effort and thought has went into how to make that the best it can be, so it looks fantastic. Of course, the new Gordon Ramsay restaurant, that work is ongoing, and it looks fantastic. I think again everybody will be really, really pleased with the outcomes on that one. The members' lounge has been upgraded, long overdue. New carpet, new flooring, new paint, new mirrors everywhere. So again, it looks like an awesome space.
Again, I've got pictures of them to include for people to see. So that's what hopefully people will be seeing them as well. And you're right, a lot brighter.
Absolutely.
It's just a new freshness.
Nice. And hopefully, Stephen, you'll recognise the new press facilities as well, both areas.
They've been well covered. I think everyone's been delighted with the new, do we call it a theatre style for the press conferences and things like that. I think that's a fantastic space, especially for Europe as well. And the actual, this may sound silly, but the old press room, it didn't have much area to work. No. The space now is incredible, so it has been good work.
Excellent. I'm glad everybody kind of likes that as well. So some great feedback on that already. So great.
100%. Yeah.
And again, absolutely as well. We've still got, it's kind of been ongoing for a couple of years now, but we're finally down to the final lift upgrade in the stadium as well, which we need to again find the window of opportunity. It's such a critical lift in the main stand. It's the main stand centre lift which takes you to the club deck as well. So we need to find a window of opportunity, probably between about 8 to 12 weeks to get that done. So it's looking likely that'll probably be the end of the season. However, if we can do certain elements of that over Christmas, for example, then we'll absolutely do that. But we're finally down to the last lift, and that'll be all the lifts throughout the stadium upgraded as well. Finally, I think the kitchen equipment upgrades throughout the full stadium as well. All the older kitchens that we've got, some of the machinery was just beyond life cycle. New blast chillers getting in, new walk-in fridges, new rationale ovens throughout as well. So, in support of our catering element of the stadium, these are massively needed upgrades, and again, hopefully you start to see the results of all that. Excellent.
Because those upgrades will allow us maybe to change the menu and adapt that a wee bit. I think Josh has spoke to me about that before, and it's something we'll cover, because people have often said, about the kiosk and stuff, it's limited, but these are the reasons why. And I think when you understand, I just don't think we think sometimes as a support that the stadium is actually 40 plus years old, the stands and things like that. And I think when we take that into consideration, and then you say those updates, it kind of makes sense a wee bit more.
It does. The ageing infrastructure makes everything a challenge. It really, really does. And it's not just as easy as some of these new modern stadiums just making retrospective additions. It takes a lot of time, effort and thought. You look at our iconic main stand, which is listed, that brings its own challenges as well in terms of trying to do anything with that. You make sure you inform the right people and do everything by the book, of course. But right down to concourse flooring. LED lighting, very shortly we won't be able to purchase the old fluorescent tube lighting by law, so we have to do some upgrades as we go. As they start to fail, we'll be upgrading, but the concourses, take the family stand for example, I think it's about time we started to look at those areas as well. Lighting, flooring, walls, painting, fabric, doors, everything. So it's all on the radar and it's all exciting stuff, and hopefully by the next conversation, Stephen, I've got some further updates for you.
Before we finish, I wonder if we could have a brief, quick chat on the training ground. because obviously there's been a lot of work done. And I put you on the spot a wee bit, John, because I didn't say we were going to ask this, but could you give us maybe a kind of brief update? I know that we had, the club told us back at the start of the year they spent quite a lot of money on the new mobile lighting things for the fields and stuff like that, which was a significant investment. Are you able to give us maybe a brief kind of outline of the work that's maybe went on up there?
Yes, the lighting being one of them. We have recently just finished commissioning the install of the new undersoil boilers as well up there. So we now have the capability for future to put undersoil heating into our Pro Pitch 2. It currently only serves a Pro Pitch 1, but if we want to, in the years to come, put the infrastructure underneath Pro Pitch 2, then we can absolutely do that now. That was significant investment and it looks fantastic. The ground staff are absolutely delighted with that. There's a lot of painting works going on in there. We are looking at the roof, talking about road surfacing. Actually, we had to resurface over the summer period there the entrance from the Blue Gates into the pro section of that. Again, just deterioration over the years and heavy usage with the buses coming in and what have you. So I think we are looking at options for space up there as well. We need to, obviously that place has just exploded by terms of the women's, the academies, the B teams. We've kind of outgrew its original design, if you like, so we have to kind of find ways of accommodating everybody. So we're looking at those options as well, and then generally just the upgrades round about the kitchens and stairwells, and again the fabric and all these different areas, they just need to be brought into the kind of modern facilities.
I think the positive thing for this, John, finally, is to say that I think it's great that the club have recognised this. You've obviously got the backing from James and the board. Absolutely. On these upgrades, and you've obviously been given not only the capacity to go and do it, but you're being backed to do it. I think that's, without putting your words in your mouth, I think that's probably fair that I've taken from this anyway. I think that's fair to say that you've got that support.
It's very exciting for me, Stephen. I'm a lifelong fan of the club myself, and I like all the other fans, I recognise all these things, so to be given the opportunity to go ahead and improve Ibrox Stadium and the infrastructure and carry out all these projects, and you're absolutely bang on. The support that I've received from all the senior members of the football club has been excellent, to be honest. We've got some outstanding people in outstanding positions throughout the club at every department, and we're all striving for excellence and continuous improvement.
John, thanks for your time. It's been a really insightful meeting with you. I love the idea of coming back and getting the regular kind of updates. And just remember as well, folks, this isn't really John's remit. He's taking time out of his day to speak to us and try and give the fans an update. So John, listen, thanks very much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Steve.